What time is it?
Sunrise.
Around 6 in the morning. Not that you'd be able to tell.
Where's Spike?
He's asleep. I'd like to get going before he wakes up. All right, let's try this again. Discord? Are you ready to come out yet? It's not working. He's still actively refusing to be summoned. I'm going to try and use the elements. Without all of us here? When you tried to use them without Rainbow Dash during our first ever showdown with Discord, didn't they not work? No, they didn't, but I was a unicorn back then. Now that I'm an alicorn, I can use them by myself, like how Celestia used them on Luna when she first became Nightmare Moon. I don't know if they'll work the same way they do when we use them together, but we'll see. And it's not like we really have any other options. Of course not.
I'm sorry they didn't work, Twilight.
Me too. I wasn't expecting them to work, but I won't say I'm not really disappointed anyway. Maybe we can try again, but with Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Speaking of which, before we leave, I'd like to send off one last letter to Sweet Apple Acres.
Another one?
I like to keep them updated. Darling, we don't even know if they're reading them. Surely you don't have to give them any more updates.
But they weren't at Sweet Apple Acres when you checked back in Ponyville. What if they still aren't? Can't you send the letter to them directly?
I wish, but unfortunately no. I can only teleport items to locations that I know and not the actual pony themselves, since ponies are always moving around and I can't always pinpoint where they are. Especially now. It's gotten harder to teleport the letters since we've gotten so far away from Ponyville, but luckily they're just paper and are pretty simple items to teleport. But with no other way to contact them, we'll just have to hope that they see the letters at the farm. We can find another way to contact them when we've seen the princesses. Is every pony packed and ready to go? I want to get as early of a start as we can.
Twilight, you did tell Spike that we were leaving without him, didn't you?
I didn't.
Twilight, we can't just go without telling Spike.
I can't. If I tell him, if we just go before he wakes up, then he won't try to follow us. It might be too dangerous for him, and I can't risk him getting hurt. We'll come back when we know it's safe in the Crystal Empire or not. He'll be safe here. And if the Crystal Empire isn't safe?
If it isn't, then he'll never see you again.
If it isn't safe, then we'll come back and make a new strategy.
Or we won't come back at all. You just said it might be too dangerous for Spike, but what about us? We barely even have a plan. We need to slow down. Twilight, I think that we need to accept that if Celestia and Luna are infected, then we might not come back from this. And with the sun and moon in this state, they really could be. We don't even know if we'll get through the infected ponies of the Crystal Empire City before we get to the castle. We don't know if the Crystal Empire even has any infected. I don't think we can just go running off to someplace like that hoping that we'll come back home safe. Maybe we should stay here and think of a new plan.
But what about time? It's already been 7 days since we've talked to Celestia and Luna. No contact from them, no responses to my letters. What if they need us?
Maybe they're sending letters to your castle because they don't know where you are?
Spike receives their letters anywhere, and he hasn't gotten a single one. What if they're not infected, but they're in trouble? What about Shining Armor and Flurry Heart or Sunburst?
Darling, we need a real plan. We can't help any of them if we die.
You all want to wait? Okay. I'm sorry. I hear you. I'm rushing us and it could put us in danger. I worry that we don't have enough time and... I think now I know exactly where Rainbow Dash was coming from. Okay. So, what now? Things aren't looking good, darling, and I think we need to face the facts. If it's been sunrise for 4 days, I don't think the princesses are doing well. The fact that they were at ground zero of the infection when we last heard from them doesn't help. So, I think that we need to arrive at the Crystal Empire assuming that they are in fact infected, and then go from there. Plan for the worst case scenario. How about this? We go back inside the house, we have a cup of tea, and we'll make the hike to the Crystal Empire in a couple of hours. We'll go to the border and see how the city looks from a distance, and then we'll make a plan according to that, instead of barging right in and going straight to the castle. Does that sound okay? That sounds good. Thank you. I'm glad I can count on you all to tell me when I'm out of my depth. And this time, I'll tell Spike before we go. And I'll trust that he won't follow us. I'm sorry for getting ahead of myself. We understand, darling. It's hard not to do so ourselves. My feelings are going faster than my thoughts. And time is going faster than my thoughts. I'm scared that every moment we don't know what's happening is another moment wasted. What if we don't get there in time and I fail every pony and we miss our chance?
I'm scared too. Well, yeah, of course you're scared. This is scary. This might be the scariest thing we faced. Not knowing anything is scary, and zombies are scary. And it's even more scary when our friends aren't here. I'd say the only thing that's been nearly as scary as this is when we had to leave Equestria to save every pony from the Storm King. But even then we were all together. Until we weren't. But then we were. Maybe it'll go like that again this time, and we'll reunite with Rainbow Dash and Applejack. We know that being the mayor in charge is a lot of work, and you feel responsible for every pony's safety, but we're okay. And we're here to help you. You're doing so good, Twilight.
Thanks, girls. If Dashie knew I'd gotten so ahead of myself after trying to slow her down, she'd laugh so much at my hypocrisy. She would. But then she'd also know how you feel more than anyone. And if Applejack were here, she'd tell you to come inside and have a cup of tea. I saw in the pantry that they had apple, honey, and lemon tea bags.
Yup! And apple, honey, lemon tea bag rhymes with Battle Sunny, Heron, Bee Rag.
Pinkie Pie, that doesn't even make an actual sentence, let alone actually rhyme.
But it made you smile. So it's a win in my book.